They vanished from history, but not from the promise. The true sons of Abraham are rising again, through blood, through mercy, through submission.
This episode will confront the false assurance of bloodline alone. Reveal that being a child of Abraham by flesh is not enough. Faithfulness and submission were always required. Highlight the Samaritan parables and how YHWH exposed the rejection of lost brothers. Clarify that early believers were not converts, but restored covenant people. Show that the true heirs are not recognized by tribe, but by alignment with the Deen of Abraham. They were children of the promise. They had the blood of the prophets. But something went wrong. They boasted of their descent, but they broke the covenant. And yet, even in exile, they kept one idea alive, that blood alone would save them. John 8, verse 33. We are Abraham's descendants and have never been in bondage to anyone. They were proud, not of their faith, but of their blood. We are the children of Abraham, they said. But the one they spoke to was not a child of Judah, not a priest of Levi, but a descendant of Ishmael, the very line they had disowned. They forgot what was foretold about him. He will be a wild donkey of a man, his hand against everyone, and everyone's hand against him. And he shall dwell in defiance of all his brothers. Genesis 16:12. They took these words as a curse, but it was not a curse. It was a prophecy of freedom. Ishmael would not be tamed by kings, nor subdued by empires, nor bought by religions built on compromise. He would wander the deserts, but not without purpose. He would dwell apart, but never bow to idols. He would be fierce, but only because he belonged to no one, except to Allah. And from his bloodline would rise a man who would speak not in parables, but with clarity. Not with scrolls rewritten, but with a revelation preserved, a warner, a restorer, the seal of the prophets. He did not come to flatter bloodlines, but to call them back to the Deen. Yet still they boasted, "We are Abraham's seed. We are the people of the covenant." But they forgot. The covenant was not just written in blood. It was sealed in submission. They wanted the inheritance without obedience. They wanted the blessings without the surrender. They wanted the name, but rejected the way. This was the same deception that led to their fall. Not once, not twice, but again and again. And now, the last warning stood before them. A man from the line they had cast out, carrying the final call. But again, they rejected him. Not because he lied, but because he was Ishmael's son, and no man had ever tamed him. The words of YHWH, John 8:39-40. If you were Abraham's children, you would do the works of Abraham. But now you seek to kill me, a man who has told you the truth from YHWH. So what made someone a true child of Abraham? Blood? No. Works, obedience, truth, and submission. The southern kingdom had one more deception, that the northern kingdom, the scattered tribes, were no longer their brothers. So they gave them a name, Samaritans. They treated them as Gentiles, as outsiders, as forever disqualified. But YHWH exposed that lie. The Good Samaritan. A man was beaten, left to die on the road. A priest passed him by. A Levite ignored him. But a Samaritan stopped, cared for him, lifted him up. Luke 10:36-37. Which of these three do you think was a neighbor to him? He said, the one who had mercy on him. The priest had the bloodline. The Levite had the law. But the Samaritan had mercy and walked the path of Abraham. And that made him more of a son than the others. The woman at the well, John 4, verse 9. How is it that you, a Jew, ask a drink from me, a Samaritan woman? And yet he answered, John 4:23. But the hour is coming, and now is, when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. For the Father is seeking such to worship him. She had no temple, she had no priest to claim her, but she was called because she had the heart to receive. The early followers of the Messiah were not converts to a new religion. They were Israelites in exile, scattered tribes, forgotten Samaritans, oppressed Galileans. They didn't find a new path. They returned to the path. The parables were not random stories. They were calls to the lost brothers, reminders that Allah had not forgotten them. The heirs of the covenant are not defined by lineage anymore. They are defined by blood that links back to Abraham, mercy that restored them from exile, and submission that returned them to the Deen. And this Deen was never Christianity, never Rabbinic Judaism. It was Islam. Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah 132. And Abraham instructed his sons with this message, O my sons, indeed Allah has chosen for you the Deen, so do not die except in submission, as Muslims. Blood was never enough. Not even the blood of Abraham could secure the promise. Without mercy that restores, and submission that seals. But if not bloodline alone, what then identifies the true heirs of the covenant? What name must they bear? What house must they face? And what seal marks them as Abraham's living sons? In the next episode, Episode 4, the name, the house, and the seal. Why did the Quran never mention Jerusalem as the final direction of prayer? Why was the Kaaba chosen again? And what is the seal that identifies the real heirs of Abraham? Join us as we uncover the next layer of the covenant's restoration.